Emotions are not just the result of our thoughts, they are the architects of our reality. Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Have you ever felt that, no matter how much you try to think positively, certain things in your life keep repeating themselves? That, despite praying, meditating, and visualizing what you desire, it seems like something invisible is blocking your reality? Perhaps the answer lies in something few people talk about clearly: the vibrational frequency of your emotions. There is an invisible scale, a veritable emotional ruler, that defines the type of energy you emit into the universe. This scale doesn't just measure feelings, it dictates the rhythm of your manifestation, the tone of your life experience. From the depths of shame and guilt, through sadness and fear, to the pinnacle of joy and peace, each step on this scale profoundly alters the quantum field that connects everything in existence. It's as if your body and soul speak a language that transcends the mind, transmitting a silent yet powerful message to the universe. This emotional scale isn't an abstract concept. It's a real compass that guides your choices, shapes your relationships, and determines what the universe is willing to give you. Each emotion carries a frequency, a unique vibration that resonates beyond what you can see or touch. But here's the paradox. You often try to climb this scale through mental effort, trying to force positivity or repress feelings considered negative. This creates a dissonance between what you think you should feel and what's actually vibrating inside you. And this discrepancy is the key to understanding why your desires seem to flee and your fears insist on returning. Because the universe responds to the prevailing frequency, not to the words you speak or the desires you manifest. And the most constant frequency many emit is precisely fear. This fear is not a villain to be fought, but a messenger, a signal from the body and soul that something still needs to be seen, felt, and integrated. It is the shadow that insists on being acknowledged so that true light can emerge. In this video, you will discover how the scale of emotions acts as the true engine of the law of attraction, far beyond intentions and affirmations. Why feeling fear or anger can actually open doors to profound change if you understand their language. And most importantly, how to align your vibration with your purest essence, allowing the universe to respond with an energy of peace, abundance, and real transformation. This isn't an empty promise, but an invitation to a journey of vibrational self-discovery. Understanding this scale is like unlocking a sacred code, a silent path that reveals the hidden power within your emotions. And when you finally learn to listen to this code, without judgment or resistance, manifestation stops being a struggle and becomes a natural dance with life. You don't need to become someone different. You need to reconnect with what's already true within you, at your deepest frequency. Here you will rediscover the power of your emotions, beyond what the mind can comprehend. Prepare to change your reality from the vibrational silence that resides within you, because the staircase you climb is not just a path to the top, but a transformation of the very space you walk in. For a long time, I believed that positive thinking was enough to change my life. I repeated affirmations, tried to control my thoughts, and forced a mental image of abundance and success. But even so, I felt a deep restlessness, as if something inside me wasn't aligned. I saw people around me achieving what they desired with apparent ease, while I remained trapped in cycles of fear, doubt, and frustration. I asked myself, why can't I manifest what I so desperately desire? Where is the error? It was in one of these moments of doubt that I began to perceive an invisible pattern, something the mind alone could not explain. I realized that my emotions had a rhythm of their own, a silent frequency that controlled the dance of my life. Sometimes I was overcome by a serene peace, and everything seemed to flow. At other times, a subtle anxiety or latent fear would creep in, and almost like a magnet, attract challenging situations. I began to understand that it wasn't just about thinking positive or visualizing the best. It was about the invisible vibration I emitted in every moment, the energetic pulse of my deepest emotions. That's when I discovered a scale, an emotional ruler that measures the degree of my inner vibration. The scale isn't just theoretical. It's present in every moment of my life, silently guiding my experiences. I began to explore this scale carefully, without judging the lowest feelings, but welcoming them as signs, as messages from the soul. I discovered that fear, anger, and sadness are not enemies to be fought, but necessary parts of the journey of self-discovery and transformation. Understanding this inner movement took me to a new place, a space where manifestation was no longer a struggle, but a natural flow. And this flow arises when we recognize the dominant frequency we carry. When we stop pretending that we are in a different vibrational state than what we are actually feeling. And it was in this acceptance, deep and silent, that the universe began to respond in ways I never imagined. Today, I share this discovery because I know many feel trapped in the same cycle. Many try to move forward, but they continue vibrating at a frequency that repels what they desire. If you feel like something inside you is on a different rhythm than your mind tries to force, this journey is for you. Here at Paths of Light, we believe that true change comes from listening, not from fighting who you are, but from reconnecting with your vibrational essence. If this message touches your heart, leave your like and subscribe so we can walk together on this path of awakening and resonance. Because real transformation does not happen on the surface of thought. It happens in the deep silence of emotion, in the vibrational pulse of your being, in reconnecting with the frequency that echoes the truth of your soul. As we delve deeper into the dynamics of the emotional scale, we begin to realize that each feeling carries a unique frequency, an energetic signature that directly affects the reality we attract. This frequency is not just a reflection of the mind, but a vibration emanating from the body, the soul, the deepest essence of our being. Imagine your life as a vibrational symphony, where each emotion is a note that composes the melody of what you experience. When the notes are dissonant, fear, anger, guilt, the music becomes tense and chaotic, and the situations that arise reflect this disharmony. When the notes are harmonious, love, joy, peace, the music flows smoothly and naturally, and the universe responds with abundance and beauty. But this melody isn't easy to recognize in everyday life. We're constantly subject to noise, external and internal interference that disconnects us from this original frequency. This is where the scale of emotions becomes an essential map. It doesn't judge, it doesn't impose, it simply points out what vibrates most strongly within us. Why do we so often feel trapped in cycles of suffering and repetition? Because we are vibrating at a frequency that echoes ancient pain, inherited traumas, and conditioning that has made us forget our true nature. Fear, for example, is not just a fleeting reaction. It is a powerful ancestral frequency that establishes itself as a protective layer, an invisible armor. But fear is also a message. It speaks of limits, of comfort zones that no longer serve us, of pain that has not yet been embraced. When we deny fear, it grows stronger. When we embrace it consciously, we begin to dissolve its prison. This understanding changes everything, because manifestation doesn't happen on the surface of conscious desires, but in the depths of the vibrational frequencies we sustain without realizing it. The universe does not respond to our words, but to the resonance we emit. And this is where the real journey begins. Understanding which frequencies we are nurturing and how they shape our reality. The scale of emotions is an invitation to this silent reflection, to deeply listen to what pulses within us. But make no mistake, this journey is neither linear nor simple. It requires courage to face inner shadows, to recognize patterns that once served us, but now limit us. It's a process of vibrational stripping, where masks fall and the essence emerges. The good news is that each step in this direction activates the quantum field in our favor, opening space for new possibilities. When we vibrate at a frequency of love, acceptance, and peace, the universe responds with signs, opportunities, and synchronicities that reinforce this new reality. This shift is not magic. It is a dance between consciousness and energy, where awakening to the scale of emotions is the first movement. You will be led to perceive the quiet power of these vibrations in your life, not as something distant, but as the foundation of who you are and who you can become. The message is clear. Changing your life starts with changing your frequency. And this transformation begins here, now, within you. Since the dawn of humanity, understanding the influence of emotions on reality is nothing new. Various spiritual traditions and ancient philosophies already pointed to a profound connection between a person's emotional state and the world around them, long before modern science began exploring the quantum foundations of this relationship. In ancient Egypt, initiates of mystery schools were taught to recognize and work with emotions not as something to be repressed, but as gateways to higher levels of consciousness. They understood that emotions such as fear, anger, or sadness were vibrational codes, signals from the soul indicating internal areas that required attention and healing. Emotional energy was seen as a creative force that, when directed consciously, could transform an individual's destiny. In Eastern philosophy, especially in Taoism, we find the idea of a balance between yin and yang, where emotions are neither good nor bad, but expressions of opposing forces that, in harmony, sustain life. Lao Tzu, in his Tao Te Ching, suggests that acceptance and emotional fluidity are paths to aligning with the natural flow of the universe, and that rigid control of emotions creates resistance and suffering. In India, Tantric traditions speak of energetic awakening as a dance between light and shadow, where the full acceptance of all emotions, without judgment, is essential for the expansion of consciousness. Tantric masters emphasized that the path to freedom lies through the recognition and integration of emotions, as they carry energies that, if repressed, block the flow of life. In depth psychology, Carl Jung introduced the idea of the shadow, those parts of the psyche we prefer to ignore, but which carry a significant emotional burden. Jung stated that what is not brought to consciousness returns as fate, reinforcing the importance of embracing our emotions so as not to be held hostage by them. His approach values emotional integration as part of the individuation process, the path to wholeness. Moving into quantum physics, figures like Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden have highlighted the importance of the energy field and consciousness in shaping reality. They demonstrate that our emotions are not mere subjective states, but forces capable of altering the behavior of particles at the subatomic level. The concept of intention and emotional vibration is directly linked to manifestation, confirming ancient spiritual knowledge from a new scientific perspective. Neuroscience also contributes to this understanding, revealing how emotions shape our brain chemistry and influence the nervous system. The vibrational frequency of emotions directly affects physical and mental health, creating patterns that can either strengthen or weaken the body. Thus, emotional self-care is not just a psychological issue, but a biological necessity. By combining this ancient and modern knowledge, we understand that the scale of emotions is more than a theory. It is a path to the vibrational transformation of existence. It is the bridge between what we feel, what we are, and what we attract. Thus, true mastery is not in controlling or avoiding negative emotions, but in recognizing their messages and using their energy to create a reality aligned with our deepest essence. Now, imagine that this entire emotional scale you're beginning to understand isn't just a straight line, but a dynamic vibrational field where each frequency interacts with, influences, and even transforms the others. This field isn't limited to your body or mind. It transcends the individual and touches the collective, the invisible fabric that connects all beings and realities. But what few know, and many don't even dare to imagine, is that within this emotional field lie silent, almost imperceptible frequencies that carry ancient secrets. Frequencies that are not just feelings, but vibrational codes that the universe uses to communicate with you, an invisible dialogue between you and everything in existence. These silent frequencies can manifest in subtle ways, like a sudden intuition, an unexplainable thrill, or even a vague feeling that something is about to change. They may be hidden in emotions you consider negative, but which are actually keys to opening portals of profound transformation. And here's the point almost no one discusses. The quantum field, this vast sea of possibilities, responds not simply to what you want, but to what you are truly vibrating at your core, at the deepest layer of your emotional consciousness. Therefore, the real work is not to seek what feels good, but to decode what your silent vibration is sending. Perhaps you felt, in moments of inner silence, that your reality seemed to align perfectly, as if the universe were conspiring in your favor. But at other times, no matter how much you wished, everything seemed to resist. This oscillation is living proof that the field responds to what isn't explicit in words, but which pulsates in your emotional frequency. What makes it all even more intriguing is that these vibrational codes are not fixed. They shift as your consciousness expands or retracts, as you integrate or resist the emotions that arise. It's a continuous dance, where traditional knowledge and modern science meet to show that you are the epicenter of this transformation. What if I told you there is a silent, almost forgotten technique that allows you to tune your emotional frequency to the quantum field, activating these deep messages and awakening the latent power of manifestation within you? But this technique isn't something you learn from books or ordinary videos. It only reveals itself to those willing to feel, to listen without judgment, and to allow inner silence to show the way. Are you ready to take that step? Remember, the journey to mastering the scale of emotions is the journey to mastery over your own life. When you begin to perceive the scale of emotions not just as a concept, but as a living experience within you, something profoundly begins to shift. The simple act of observing your emotions without judgment opens a door to a state of presence that transcends automatic reaction and the endless cycle of suffering. This new state brings benefits that go far beyond momentary relief or the pursuit of superficial happiness. It reaches the root of your being, realigning your vibrational field with the essential truth that has always been there, even when obscured by layers of fear, guilt, and anxiety. You begin to notice that situations that previously caused stress and turmoil now seem to pass like gentle waves, without you needing to cling to them. Your mind slows down, allowing clarity to fill the space previously dominated by confusion. Your body, in turn, responds to this new frequency with greater balance, vitality, and peace. It's as if an inner lens is adjusted, allowing you to see reality with new eyes that perceive beyond appearances, that capture the subtle movement of energies and intentions, and that recognize the natural flow of life. But the most transformative thing is that, by shifting your vibration, you begin to attract experiences that resonate with this new frequency. The universe, which previously seemed distant and even hostile, becomes a gentle partner, responding to the waves you emit. And this partnership isn't the result of chance, but of vibrational coherence. Because what you feel and experience is always a reflection of what you emit into the field. Remember the story I began to tell, that moment when I realized my attempts to control life with my mind were insufficient. From that moment on, the most profound change came not from outside, but from the inner silence I allowed to grow. This silence became a safe space where complex emotions could arise, be felt, and released, without fear or resistance. And this acceptance brought a peace that no external formula could offer. Throughout this journey, I've discovered that fear and doubt don't have to be enemies. They can be messengers, teaching us where blocks lie, where the soul craves attention. And when we stop fighting them, we begin to dissolve the chains that keep us trapped in old patterns. Today, this wisdom guides me and is available to everyone who decides to listen to their own vibration. Because deep down, awakening to the scale of emotions is awakening to mastery over oneself and over reality. The field is always responding, always listening. And when you resonate with the truth of your essence, the world begins to whisper back, with signs, with opportunities, with synchronicities that reveal the way. This is the magic of vibrational coherence. To understand the profound influence that the scale of emotions exerts on the reality you manifest, it's essential to pay close attention to each emotion and the vibrational field it carries. Each feeling possesses a unique frequency, an energetic signature that silently shapes what you attract and experience in your life. Let's start with fear, the densest and most powerful frequency. Fear vibrates at a low resonance, charged with alertness, protection, and withdrawal. It's like an invisible wall that delimits the space you believe is safe. Although fear may seem negative, its primary function is survival. It's the ancestral voice screaming at you to avoid danger. When fear dominates your vibration, the universe returns experiences that reinforce this instinctive security, often manifesting obstacles, resistance, and situations that test your limits. But fear, when embraced consciously, ceases to be a prison and becomes a compass. It points to inner areas that cry out for attention and healing. Denying fear is strengthening its shadow. Integrating it is dissolving its bonds and expanding its field. Moving up the scale, we find anger, an intense, pulsating energy that vibrates at a frequency slightly higher than fear, but still charged with tension and urgency. Anger is the internal fire that signals injustices, limitations, and repressed desires. It calls for action and change, but without balance, it can become destructive, creating ruptures and conflicts that reverberate through the field as waves of resistance. However, anger can also be channeled as a fuel for transformation. When understood as a messenger, it reveals where inner freedom is blocked, pointing the way to personal power and self-determination. Sadness and mourning continue on the scale, with frequencies that vibrate with melancholy and introspection. These emotions invite deep reflection, detachment, and acceptance of losses, whether concrete or symbolic. Sadness, when experienced fully, opens space for emotional rebirth, clearing stagnant energies and preparing the ground for renewal. By transcending these layers, we reach calm and hope, more subtle and light frequencies. Calm is the state in which the body and mind slow down, allowing clarity to emerge and the connection with the quantum field to strengthen. Hope vibrates like a faint light that, despite difficulties, keeps the soul anchored in better possibilities. At the top of the scale, we find love, joy, and peace, emotions that vibrate at the highest frequencies, radiating expansion, connection, and harmony. Love, especially, is the fundamental frequency that sustains creation. It is the energy that dissolves separations and unites everything in a cosmic dance of unity. Joy resonates as a celebration of existence, while peace establishes the fertile silence where manifestation happens effortlessly. Each of these emotions, in its own unique way, weaves the tapestry of your reality. You can't choose what experiences the universe sends you if you don't understand the vibration you're sustaining at the core of your being. Therefore, it is not about seeking only good or positive emotions, but about cultivating awareness of the frequencies you emit, welcoming negative emotions without fear, integrating them as necessary parts of the whole. This integration is the path to vibrational coherence, the fine-tuning that makes the quantum field respond in a fluid and aligned way, opening doors to realities that reflect the truth of your essence. As you become the conductor of this inner orchestra, life ceases to be a chaotic accident and becomes a conscious creation. The universe, then, is no longer a stage for struggle, but a stage where your frequency dances in harmony with everything that exists. You are both the composer and the melody. And the scale of emotions is the sacred instrument that allows this composition. So, the message is clear. There is no emotion too small to ignore. Every vibration matters. Every frequency speaks. Every feeling is an invitation to a more authentic and free version of yourself. When you accept this truth, you begin to experience life not as a series of random events, but as a vibrational symphony, carefully orchestrated by the field, where your consciousness is the conductor. And in this awakening, you realize that real power is not in controlling the external world, but in mastering the frequency you emit to it. This is the key that opens the portal to true transformation. We've reached a delicate and crucial moment in this journey of understanding the scale of emotions, and their vibrational influence. Along the way, you've learned that every feeling, every vibration, echoes not only within you, but throughout the vast quantum field that connects everything. This silent, invisible connection is what makes your experience unique, and at the same time, deeply intertwined with the universe. You are no longer isolated in your emotions. You are an active part of a cosmic dance, where your frequency reverberates and co-creates the reality around you. And it is precisely this awareness that brings responsibility, the responsibility to listen attentively, to welcome with presence, and to choose, day after day, which frequencies you wish to nourish in your inner field. Because as we have seen, the field responds not to words, nor to superficial desires, but to the vibrational essence that pulsates in your soul. Therefore, I invite you not only to watch this video, but to experience it, to feel it, to allow this wisdom to resonate within you. If necessary, watch this video as many times as necessary, and then repeat the process. Let the inner silence reveal what your emotions want to say, without haste, without resistance. By doing this, you will be cultivating the peace that transcends understanding, the joy that does not depend on circumstances, and the love that unites all into one. Comment: if this video made you evolve your spirit and learn something new. Here at Paths of Light, our mission is to guide you along these paths of light and consciousness, showing you that true transformation isn't about running away from emotions, but about embracing them, integrating them, and dancing with them. And to continue this journey, 2 videos will appear on your screen, not by chance, but as an invitation from the universe for you to choose with your heart, with the silent vibration that knows the way. Allow your soul to decide which step to take. You are a being of light, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. The light you carry is ancient, powerful, and eternal. It vibrates in tune with the field, and it is from this harmony that your reality is born. Thank you for being here. Until next time.